So, hello. Samuel William here. It is the 4th of February 2013, and of course, as ever, I am recording here from the basement of Truth Towers. This is a propaganda-resistant booth, but I'm sad to say that there's been a leak. Something has leaked in to my propaganda-proof or resistant booth. It's called The Metro. The Metro. Now, if you're not aware of The Metro, this is, according to the front, anyway, this is the world's most popular free newspaper. And The Metro is free. And where can you pick it up? Well, you can pick it up from any railway station, any tube station. So this is the thing that people read when they're commuting to work. So this is a good opportunity for government, corporate interests, and really just any other interest to play itself out. And this is the daily debasement of people's minds. Now, if you were to stand at a tube station first thing in the morning, and you see people going in there and going to work, you will notice that these things are stacked up high, and they go down at a rate of knots. Sometimes even a queue happens at the newspaper stack for people to gobble up this goop. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of reading of this, because I think it's turning a logical, discerning eye to this kind of propaganda is really quite interesting. Of course, the one thing that I want to point out is that when people read this, even if you don't read the Metro, and I hope you don't, but even if you don't read the Metro, still you are subjected to the Metro. And the reason being is that when people read it, of course, sitting on the train, they read like this. Now, if I'm reading like this, the person opposite me is being subjected to the headline, and of course, a full-page advert. A happy face of somebody who was in the Olympics who is now selling insurance. Now, of course, the headline of the Metro today says, "The online menace to children grows." Now, the important thing about the Metro, this is really great, isn't it? The important thing about the Metro is that you've got a headline, "The online threat to children grows," or menace, and then you've got a picture of clowns. Now, are these clowns? Is this associated with the picture? Is it associated with the title? No, but it seems as if it does. It seems as if it is, doesn't it? Because it says children, and then below it says, "Let us play." Now, I'll quickly quote from this from the front page news, front page news on the Metro. Of course, marked the 4th of February 2013. I picked this up this morning. I went out especially to pick up my daily propaganda. Now it says, and I quote, "Growing," and that's in capital letters, "growing numbers of children are being groomed by voyeuristic paedophiles who target them for online abuse. The vulnerable youngsters are persuaded to perform sex acts on camera to satisfy online predators who have no intention of ever meeting their victims. Footage is often shared with other paedophiles through highly organized networks set up by the abusers, who are becoming increasingly sophisticated, coercive, and sinister in their tactics. Child Exploitation and Online Protection Center, the CEOP, and we'll be talking about those guys in a moment, the chief executive, Peter Davies, said, and I quote from a quote, this is Peter Davies' voice, "For a growing proportion of grooming cases reported to the centre, online abuse is an end in itself. UK children can be targeted from anywhere, and offenders will cast their net widely to target large numbers of children. That's the way he speaks. I'll be showing you a video of this guy a little bit later on. What he has to say, if you look just beneath the surface, is mildly interesting. The warning comes in a report following the case of two Kuwaiti brothers who organised the online abuse of 110 children, including 78 in Britain. Mohammed Khalif Ali Al-Hamada, 35, and his brother Youssef, 27, were jailed for 5 years in December after tricking children into giving them passwords before forcing them to perform sex acts on webcam. Now, how do you force somebody to do anything on webcam? Can I force you from here, in my booth in Truth Towers? Can I force you to do something with a YouTube video? Do it! Take off your clothing! Take off your clothing now! Are you taking it off? Of course you are! That's because I'm forcing you to do it. Now, there is an agenda. There is a corporate and political agenda behind this beautiful headline from the Metro on the 4th of February 2013. And it's all to do with this guy, Peter Davies. We'll get to talking him in a moment. The rest of the Metro is, of course, just filled with trash. It's all sort of like... the beauty of this newspaper is to put articles next to adverts. For example... I'm sure they do this in a lot of newspapers worldwide, but the Metro is something that just acres and acres and thousands of people read every single day. Now, there's a sort of 2-page article. I don't know how to hold this properly. Fighting to save a nation's soul. A soul of a nation. Now, this is a 2-page spread about the very sad story of that... lady in India being raped on a bus. When I was sort of subjected to all of those articles about it, I'm not sure if I mentioned it actually, but it really, really struck me as just propaganda to demonize people in India, especially men, saying they're misogynistic and sexist and cruel and rapey. And this article... which is about, it's just like a 2-page spread of all of the grisly details, again, about this rape, even though it says that there is a rape in India every 21 minutes. For some reason, this particular one just hit headlines and was just repeated again and again. But at the bottom of this article, there is an image and an advert for visiting Canada. Hooray! Because, of course, you know, I don't know what the rape rate is in Canada, but presumably that sort of works as a corporate political marketing strategy. There is also this as well, by the way. Again, I'm not really... Let me move my window so I can actually see what I'm doing. Now, this is a man and a baby. Can you see them? Let me hold it back. There's a man and a baby here. The man is bald. The baby is bald. Father and son. It's about cancer. And it says at the bottom, I am alive because of research. Yes, that's right. I'm alive because of research. And this is cancer research. And what they're doing is they're bragging that their new drug that their doctors helped to discover, called cisplatin, is 95% successful in treating testicular cancer. What they don't mention is that a lot of the people who actually take this drug, which, by the way, is part of chemotherapy, which is not good for you, ladies and gentlemen. More people die of chemotherapy than die of cancer, obviously in the treatment. Once they're treated with chemotherapy, they die of chemotherapy. They don't die of cancer. What they don't mention is there's a high chance that you will become deaf. There is a chance that you will become numb. This hurts your central nervous system and stops your nerves from working. There's a good chance that your kidneys will fail. There's a good chance that you'll have for the rest of your life however long that may be, you're going to have a metallic taste in your mouth. Good research, cancer research. It also turns out, you do a little bit of research about cancer research, that this drug was actually first formulated or mixed up, let's say, in 1845. Was cancer research going in 1845? I don't think it was. So how can they proclaim that they invented this drug? But if you're on the tube and it's early in the morning, you're going to lap this stuff up. It's going to sink in that tired, coffee-starved brain. Now, something very strange happened the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Of course, it is in the metro. And it was a guy who went to Buckingham Palace during the changing of the guard ceremony. If I could try and get a video of it and show it to you. The video should be playing now, but it may not be. Now, this guy brought a knife, and he was sort of threatening to cut his own throat in front of the police and in front of thousands of onlookers who had come to see the London's most colourful celebration of army. And he was tasered in the back. They tasered him in the back. Now, this is the guy that did it. I don't know if you can see. There's some horses here. There's a horse, and there's a policeman, and there's a man with a knife to his throat, and this is another horse. Hello, I'm a horse. Now, this guy was like, I guess, threatening to kill himself, rambling, ranting. They say unintelligibly. And they sort of distracted him, and then one officer went round to his back, and they shot him in the back with a taser, and of course he went to the ground. Now, this, to me, I mean, it was a spectacle. Obviously, there were lots and lots of people. I don't know whether it was thousands of people there, but hundreds of people were there witnessing the army with their horses and tasers. Horse and taser. They should make like a romantic Renaissance painting of that, shouldn't they? Of a man on a horse with a taser. Oh, yeah! God save the frickin' Queen. Now, this really has a parallel, I think. This has a parallel with what the French are doing to the Tuaregs in Mali. And that's because this guy, you could say that you're not really supposed to have a big knife out in public. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it wasn't an assault knife or an army knife or anything. It was a kitchen knife, right? This guy may be a chef, just a crazy chef driven crazy by the heat of the kitchen, and so he decided to come out and stand in the middle of the road and hold the knife to his neck. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but this guy, it was like he was asserting his own property rights. Because he owns his neck, he owns his body, he owns his life. And of course what happened is that the army mobilized this high technological overwhelming force and shot him in the back. Sort of tricked him, outmaneuvered him, outnumbered him, used high technology to basically assert control over his own property. And I think that really does echo what's going on with the French neo-colonial invasion of Mali. High-tech, stealing people's property. Now, let's get on to this guy. I'm hoping this is going to work. I've got a little capturing thing here, which is going to video my my web browser. Let's hope that this works properly. Now, what I've got here is my homepage. My homepage, I use Jibby Roo, which is the uncensored anonymous search engine, as you can see. A few people actually have asked me about this in the past few weeks, and this is the one I use. It uses Google, uses actually the Google search engine, but it does it sort of by proxy, so that it can sort of use Google search without Google actually looking at you, collecting information about you, and tailoring your searches based on what you've searched previously, where you live, what your demographic is, and all that kind of like censorship steering that Google does. So Jibby Roo is pretty cool. It's also got quite an interesting news feature. If you click on news in Jibby Roo, you'll see that it has a sort of, well, they say, look, uncensored news. And it's got sort of, articles that are more sort of reasonable in terms of their political allegiances. Yeah, so that's quite good. Now, the reason I want to be on Jibby Roo, let me go back to this guy. There's this guy, the CEOP. Now, the front of the Metro today, of course, is saying that there is an online menace to children. Now, most of you have probably already guessed that this is going to be about the political agenda to censor the internet and to make sure that what we do online is tracked and traced and all of that kind of jazz. But I wanted to concentrate on this guy, Peter Davies. Peter Davies. Now, you're going to see me surfing now. The CEOP. Now, if you search the CEOP, well, I don't know why my internet's so slow. It's going to show you, of course, it is the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Centre, and it's part of the police.co.uk. Let's click on that and see where it goes. Now, there it is, CEOP, this lovely little thing. There's a dot in the middle and then this sort of line that's moving. We're moving in the right direction and we're gaining exponential velocity as we go. That is probably true, to be honest. What's this up here? Click CEOP, help them, because look, we're going to have a look at you. I don't know. So that's the CEOP. Is there a thing that says about us? Yes, there is. And it will say that the Child Exploitation and Online Protection, CEOP Centre, is dedicated to eradicating the sexual abuse of children. That means we are part of the UK policing and very much about tracking and bringing offenders to account, either directly or in partnership with local and international forces. Who are these international forces? Well, it becomes very clear that possibly the NSPCC, of course, well, not, they are the National Society for the Protection of Cruelty to Children, so that's the national thing. Of course, the NSPC working in line with the police. Nothing particularly wrong with that. Teams sponsored by the likes of Visa and Serco, and experts from government and corporations such as Microsoft, offering specialist advice and guidance. Yeah, I kind of think that we know what these guys are all about. Now, let's go back to Jibby Roo, and let's search for this little chap who is called Peter Davies. Now, I think most of the searches about Peter Davies is basically going to tell you that Peter Davies is a wrestler, I think it says. No, it doesn't actually show up. If you search on YouTube for Peter Davies, he is a wrestler, a big old. But the Peter Davies that we're talking about works for the CEOP. And so let's have a search for that. Who is the CEO of the CEOP? And it is, of course, this chap who's about to load in, hopefully. Come on, Internet, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. We want to see his face. Let's read while it loads. Is it going to load? I don't know. Peter Davies is the Chief Executive of the Child Exploitation Online Protection Service Centre, bringing with him over 20 years of frontline and strategic policing roles. Appointed to this role in November 2010, he joined the CEOP from Lincolnshire Police. Lincolnshire Police. This is where we start a little bit of web surfing, because Lincolnshire Police, especially if you live in this country, Lincolnshire Police really rings a bell because it is associated with something called G4S. That is absolutely correct. Lincolnshire Police are one of these police forces that, of course, have a police partnership with G4S. A lovely branding corporate partnership. What's she looking at, look? What's she looking at through there? 21st of February 2012, landmark £2 million deal with Lincolnshire Police Authority will see widest ever outsourcing provision for UK police force. G4S Policing Support Services. Good old G4S. And there's lots of lovely quotes here about, we knew we had set ourselves an ambitious programme to be completed in a short timescale. From the outset, though, we were encouraged by the interest shown by companies with an international reputation. International. We are delighted that G4S will be joining us as a strategic partner. Hooray! So this guy comes from Lincolnshire Police. Lincolnshire Police involved with G4S. And let's have a little bit more about this guy. He's got a lovely Peter Davies. He's a very wonderful speaker. You know, he's a wonderful speaker. It says joined Lincolnshire Police in 1999 from Thames Valley Police and as East Division Commander. La 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 la. La 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 la. Nottinghamshire Police. I haven't actually done this though. Let's go with Nottinghamshire Police G4S. See what comes up. Nottinghamshire Police G4S. Bang. I hope you're enjoying this episode, by the way. I'm not feeling particularly serious today. I got a bit of a cold, so my brain's not working properly. G4S to cut staff delivering Lincolnshire Police. And what's that? These included neighbouring Nottingham. So Nottinghamshire Police also involved with G4S. With the police, G4S, with the police, we are able to help ensure the safety of the people of Nottingham. It is our mission. So G4S and this guy, they seem to be following similar circles. Highly valuable role in safeguarding children and young people. I firmly believe we are positioned to meet the challenge against a backdrop that will be demanding for public services as a whole. Unless you get G4S involved, of course. This is an organisation that is vibrant, creative, pioneering in so many ways, and I also firmly believe that everything we do can only be delivered if this organisation is collaborative, inclusive, and partnership-driven. Partnership-driven. Now, of course, these guys are talking about international partnerships. Well, who are they talking about? Well, if you, of course, click on partners and supporters, it's like how your organisation could work with CEOP. But at the bottom, they've got the scrolling corporate icons of all of the companies they're working with. You'll notice Disney, Club Penguin. You've got BT, Telecommunications, Child Protection, Microsoft, BAE Systems. Wait till that comes back. Beat Bullying. This seems very innocuous, but Virgin Media, Visa, Vodafone, O2, BAE Systems, and Detica. Now, if you do a quick search for Detica, you will find that, as he waits for the internet to load, that Detica, BAE Systems, Detica, we help our clients collect, exploit, and manage their data and turn it into intelligence they can use to make their operations smarter, secure, and more efficient. Of course, this agenda is about tracking. So this is basically the United Kingdom government and police force working hand in hand with BAE Systems, so that they can track the internet usage of anyone who's using Virgin Media, everyone who's using O2, or any of those other companies. Of course, the thing that provides tacit, unspoken consent is the metro. The thing that keeps the people okay with being tracked is, of course, the ever presence of the menace against children on the internet, and possibly these evil clowns. Of course, when you're reading this on the tube in the morning, you're not going to have the internet necessarily in front of you, so you're certainly not going to start looking into the background of some of the people who are heading these organizations, who are creating these public-private partnerships, whose only job is to make sure that there is a digital network of spying upon everyone, because everyone, just like in the war on terror, the war on online paedophilic abuse of potential victims, we are all potential suspects, and we will all be tracked because of our fear of the online menace provided to you by the Metro. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this strange episode. I'm going to go out and about at the end of this week. I've got a few days off work, and hopefully if there's a sunny, shiny day, I'm going to take my camera, I'm going to start exploring, and hopefully I can cobble together some kind of decent episode for you guys to enjoy. So thank you for watching this. As ever, do all those nice things, which is sharing, favoriting, commenting. Do lots of comments. Click the thumbs up. And until next time, goodbye.